All right, welcome back, everyone, to our Pirates of the Caribbean movie review
Army. No,
series.
stop calling it that. Army Hearties, welcome back
Yo ho,
to
yo ho.
another.
You know they love that
Upon,
song. Me Hardy's yo ho,
upon.
yo ho.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the song of the ride, you know?
That's
So,
the rides. Yeah, it
it's the.
was the best uh, road trip song before 99 bottles of beer on the wall. It was great.
It's just the.
All time classic. So
Good one.
we're here reviewing every Pirates movie. We've been going through
Hmm.
them week by week, and as always, we're going to start our review off with our gut check, which is what our score is, how we're feeling going into the review, and we'll have a chance to finalize a score at the end, whether our score changes or not. All right,
Hmm.
so let's see what we got here. 3, 2, 1, flip. Whoa, okay.
What do you got?
7.
7? All right.
And you got an 8. Okay.
Mm
So mine's a tiny notch below the last one. Yours is a tiny notch above the last one.
hmm. Mm hmm. Yes.
Interesting. Tell me why.
So, I love this movie. I think this movie still has a lot of the same problems as the maybe I wouldn't say a lot of the same problems. It is maybe too overstuffed.
Yeah.
I think it's more. I think it's a lot easier to follow than Dead Man's Chest. And I think the reason for that is because they sort of. I want to say like Dead Man's Chest is very like plot beat focused. Like we're moving plot beat, plot beat, plot beat, plot beat. Is this one is a lot more centered on the it's this still kind of happening, but it's a lot more character focused, a lot more introspective with Jack Sparrow, really weird stuff with him, but focusing on his stuff, we're really focusing in on the love story between the parallel love stories going on. We have the
Jack and Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. No, not Jack and Elizabeth.
Still
We have
there.
Elizabeth,
Hey,
Elizabeth and Will.
you
It's
said
not
you said
still
this would
there.
erase my problems with the first one, and it absolutely
It,
did not.
why?
Why? It
Why?
didn't, it
It's
didn't
not
give any
there at
more. It
all.
didn't, no, I'm not saying. I'm saying you said it would give me some new justification for the last stuff. It
Yeah.
didn't. It had the same. I had the same. It didn't
Why?
add any new context to it or anything.
What do you mean?
How? How so?
It explained it. She's like, I was holding everything close to the chest because I didn't that the context was no, she didn't love him. That's not the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's the new context from this movie?
I, I mean, I guess I don't know what you mean. The new context is you understand what she actually, the whole point of that whole thing. She purposely killed Jack so that to give him a chance to get away. It wasn't because
What?
she valued herself as a pirate, which you basically see her from the get go in this, where she's like really fully more or less fully embraced that side of herself.
But we knew that.
As no,
But
well,
we
yeah, but
got that in the last one. We saw like
we
she was
didn't we
obviously
didn't
when she was making out with him. Obviously, it wasn't authentic because she was the whole
right
ploy to get the cracking on him. But
right.
I still had issues with the initial sexual tension, which yet to get any context or like justification for after the facts.
I mean the justification is she's a babe and Jack Sparrow
Okay, but
is
she
a
was
hot
acting
blooded
awkward. Like
male.
she had that compass and it was pointing at her, and she was
Right, because
flustered. She was
I
flustered.
think right, and I think I explained it where it's like, yeah, she's flustered because she doesn't necessarily know exactly what it means until she knows what it means.
I don't know. I don't know. I think
It's sloppily executed in the last movie. We already went over that.
right, but you were
I
telling me
said that.
once you see this movie, the payoff is gonna really
Well, the payoff is her explaining it that she didn't love because like the payoff is you Will basically confronting her because he's still under the assumption that she loves him
yeah, and she yeah
throughout
she
this
just
whole
kept
time.
that act going for so
Yeah,
long.
because she's basically kept him at his. By the way, there had to have been at least a couple of months that passed between the these two movies
Yeah,
because it's not exactly a hop, skip, and a jump to get to Singapore from the Caribbean. You know, it's a long
yeah,
that's
exactly.
a long trip.
They again just gotta throw you in there. Like I almost expected it to pick right off where we left off in Dead Man's Chest because they had the whole
Yeah,
Barbosa reveal, but it's like no, we just were right in the thick of it again. They like to really just throw you in there, and no chaser.
yeah.
Boom.
Well, I mean, here it starts off with like the seas have changed. Beckett's in charge of basically everything now, and
Cutler
that
Beckett.
Cutler Beckett, he's basically in charge of everything, and boy, that sure is not pleasant for everyone else.
Yeah.
So so okay, so back to kind of why I
Yeah.
really like this movie. So I think that it, while simultaneously fulfilling most of our character stories in, I would say, overall extremely satisfying conclusions. I really like the, if kind of like I said with Dead Man's Chest, it was sort of like plot stuff kept happening, and yeah, we were getting like new lore, I guess, but it just sort of felt like a bunch of things happening. This was like all the building blocks from that were then kind of finally put into place, and like, oh, we're actually getting like lore about this whole world, this whole universe. So like the lore building, the world building in this movie is really good, and it is not at a disservice to the character arcs that were already um that are already underway.
Mm.
And I actually found myself like, this is for rewatching this for the first time. I actually found myself like kind of okay overall with Elizabeth's story arc. I think I've sort of poo-pooed it in the past. I've just kind of been like, it's kind of like, yeah, it's whatever. But I can kind of get behind it with the whole, with the her and her father's relationship, like that being like more or less like a primary justification, or it's not maybe not primary justification, but it's like one of the many reasons why she has a real drive to be this pirate lady, you know,
Mm.
the pirate king, as she becomes, as she's voted. Um, so I think it is still a little like, the stuff with the multiple Jack stuff is just all, it's just so weird. It's almost too weird for the movie.
I'm
But
with it.
despite that, it's even though things are like somehow more over the top, at the same time it feels more of the world. Like we don't have Jack like pole vaulting over a chasm. We don't have any of the island nonsense. I guess I think my whole problem with that movie is really the cannibal island. It's just weird. That whole sequence
Right.
almost didn't need to happen at
Though it's
all.
funny to like be like,
Um,
yeah, that's unrealistic, but with flipping
and
a
then
boat upside down, it's like,
flipping a boat upside down and doing like sword fights on top of a
yeah,
mast
they
while
still got to
the
get on that
maelstrom fight.
mast.
Very
They,
realistic.
you knew
Very
they had to get
realistic.
on that mast and start sword fighting.
Yeah. Um, I I think the overall spectacle is more, it's fun. I would say this is like even more fun, to a service of a better story, more interesting character dynamics, and world building. So I think there's it's just more engaging. I find it just a lot more engaging to watch. Also, the score really carries this movie like super hard. That
Hmm.
love theme is just like so good. So,
Okay.
um, but it's not perfect. I got my problems with it. I mean, it's weird. It's maybe a little too long.
Yeah, I would
It's almost
say
3 hours long.
it's not as engaging for me actually. It
Hmm.
felt and it yeah, it felt longer to me definitely than the last one. I could feel it in this one, which is not something I want to feel.
Oh,
It's
I
like
definitely did not.
you go in and see it's a 2 hour and 48 minutes movie or whatever.
Mhm.
So I want to forget that, but it's like it felt long to me. It felt too long, a little bloated, but and then I felt like some of the stuff was still a little thrown together. Um, like they just kind of spring us on this whole pirate lord thing that just comes out of nowhere right out of the gate. It's just like, oh, there's 9 pirate lords, and Jack's one of them, Barbossa's one of them, and then she becomes one of them real quick, and then it's the whole
Oh, it's not
mess.
really that quick. She becomes one, like that's like more than halfway through the movie. She's becomes one.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I really liked, but for me, it just didn't
Yeah.
work as well as the last one, even. And it's probably my least favorite so far, but
Yeah,
nothing
I
horrible.
yeah, I really, like I said, I really like this movie a lot. I think I think having that greater sort of, because we've been so focused so much on the Caribbean, that it's fun to get pirates from all these different parts of the world. Like that's just really fun. Like right off the bat, we get this sort of like, so right off the bat we get like a really fun sort of sequence. Well, the movie doesn't start off particularly fun. It's pretty dark. You know, we got a kid
Right.
getting killed at the beginning. Um,
Pretty harsh.
yeah, but we have our setup. The song has been sung. The song with when pirates are in need, they sing this song. It has a mystical power to sort of make pieces of eight, make money, basically kind of have a ring, which means, hey, we need to band together. We need a brethren court needs to be called.
Hmm.
So that's the setup for the movie. But we head in and there's this basically a plot to get sea charts because we got to find a way to get to Davy Jones' locker. The only person that has the sea charts is it's Sao Fang, I think is his name.
Hmm.
Sao, something like that.
Think
It's
so.
played by Chow Yun Fat. But by the way, I think he's phenomenal. I think he's wonderful. I honestly wish he was in the movie more. Because I think he's great. And of course he dies, so he's not in the movie more.
Hmm.
But
After getting a little pervy on
yeah,
not
he
too,
got a
not
little
too much on
pervy.
Calypso.
Yeah. He gets a, he's yeah, trying to it was a lot, and he paid for it with his life, I guess. He's just like, well, the script is like, all right, well, you're trying to force yourself onto Elizabeth Swann. Yeah, you got to die now. You got to die now. You
Yeah,
can't do that. It's not okay.
that's your
So
man. That's your
hey,
man.
he's great. I think he's a great character up until maybe
Great
that.
guy.
Yeah, we love that. Yeah, so they got this huge plan to get the charts, and it goes awry. And meanwhile, the East India Trading Company is doing its thing. It's still rounding up pirates, and they're wheeling and dealing and trying to figure out what's going on. What's happening here with this plot? What's with the coins? Why are they? Where's the Brethren Court meeting? What do the pieces of eight mean? The 9 pieces of eight. And so they're out for information. But meanwhile, they have Davy Jones under lock and key, basically using the Flying Dutchman as their brute force. Can't like the scene where it's introduced, where it's just destroying a whole like a bunch of ships is great.
Hmm.
So then from there on, many adventures pursue. They find their way to the world's end. After they get lost, they have to get lost in order to find it. And then we get the weirdest. We get the acid trip. Maybe not acid trip. We get some kind of a weird trip that Jack Sparrow goes on, where he sees multiple versions of himself. You have to Okay.
How do you
It's like,
feel about
what are we
this?
doing here? I pick that game up? That was one of the games I thought I was gonna pick up for in our pickups video. I don't know if I did pick that up. Because I
What
think that's
pickup
on
video
the.
did we do?
What do you mean? What pickups video did we do?
What are you talking about?
The pickups video we did at the when we
Oh,
were game hunting.
you were gonna pick
Yeah.
up Parts of the Caribbean at World's End?
No, I thought I saw that at one of the places we were at, and I don't remember if I picked it up or not. I don't think I did.
This is an old. I have it on PC here, but I
I see
opened it up
that.
and I got a little surprise. There's Michael Bay's The Island. Is there?
What? I don't even know what that is.
It's a movie with I believe it's Scarlett Johansson, Ewan
Oh?
McGregor. I
Oh?
believe. I used to really like
Okay.
that movie. I don't know if it's actually good,
Oh,
but yeah,
interesting.
I remember being annoyed by this game, but I'm interested how it actually is.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting foray to look at some of the Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
games. I know there's a Lego one. I don't think I have that.
I've played that
It's
one.
unfortunate.
I've
But
played briefly the Pirates of the Caribbean on Xbox which is like,
Oh, the jank one,
yeah.
the old.
I
Yeah,
wonder
I
how many
remember.
of the movies even have games.
I think it's just. I think it's that one. I think there's another one that's like. There's another one that took place in between, but I don't think it was based on Dead Man's Chest. And then I know there's an At World's End game. I know there's a couple different versions of that. There was like the Wii PS2
Yeah.
version of it, and then I think there's another one. But anyway, we're off
Anyway,
track now. Yeah, they find their way onto the into the Davy Jones's locker, and it's fun. I like that sequence a lot too because it's fun. Where we get to hear after they tumble over, we actually hear just straight audio from the ride.
really.
As what that is, yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty, so it's pretty fun that they have that in there. Um, but yeah, I mean that's still like a half hour into the movie. There's a lot going on. You know, there are all these moving pieces. We have uh, Beckett making more of a case to be like, all right, well, we got to keep Davy Jones under more like he needs to be like more under more stringent. You know, we have to interrogate some people about things. You know, so we
Mm-hmm.
got to actually keep people alive. We see Norrington receiving the sword. He's back in. He's
Come on, Norrington.
back where he needs to be, and
I'm still not
you
on
know,
the Norrington train
and he's
in this movie.
um. Well, I mean, he dies. You know.
He dies, but how dare
Yeah.
you? What are you gonna kiss Elizabeth Swann for?
What are you doing?
Way to make this about you.
Way to make this about. He kind of did make it a little bit about him.
That was such a cringe
Um,
moment to me. You know.
Pirates of the Caribbean cringe compilation. Um,
But
yeah.
I do like the whole like early on the sequence where what is his name again? The bald head guy,
Safang?
Sao Fang. Yeah, when we're first like introduced to him, and then you have like all the different parties like popping up. Well, first you have the sword that's being thrown up through the
Oh,
floorboards.
the sword's up through the floorboards. Yeah,
It's like wow, that was very well coordinated. Did they even look down? Did they even know that was gonna happen?
yeah. It's pretty impressive.
But then the other guys bashing in with their guns and everything. It was just a whole mess. It
Mm.
was fun. I like the whole drop the weapons or I kill the man. It's like
Yeah, it's just like kill
kill
him.
him,
He's
he's
not
not
our
our
man. Yeah, I love that too.
it's like yeah, because I was wondering what it is like his tattoo wearing
Mm.
off. I was like okay,
Yeah.
this little tease for that. But yeah, you have all the Jack Sparrows. He's hallucinating with the Jack Sparrows.
He lays-
I'm kind of with it.
It's
Fun.
it's maybe a little like too ridiculous, but I have to admit I'm still laughing. Like
Mhm.
he's laying an egg. He lays an egg. Like
Oh, yeah.
one of his lays an egg. Another one like is like trying to I don't know fuck a goat. It's very weird. It's very strange. Um,
But then
I like the one he kills, and then we pan down to him. He just goes help.
but it's fun that
Um,
whole sequence leading up to when all the whole crew comes
Yeah.
and is going down the line. That's fun.
Mm,
You just have the all stars crew here all together.
yeah.
I wouldn't have believed
Get
it
every-
either. I mean, what a crew! What a crew!
It is a crew. Yeah. Everyone who, I like. I think so. After they find their way back, I love the like. Did no one want to bring me back just because they missed me?
Yeah,
And then it's just like a few of them are like, yeah, we did. He's like, I'm standing over with them.
yeah. That's the good stuff.
He's Mm.
That's the good stuff in this movie. Those little moments are still what I like.
Or the how about the
The
telescope
Oh.
joke? Oh, okay, the dog. Okay, the telescope joke because that's another one. I like that one.
Telescope joke's great. Yeah, I like when he
Yeah.
came out with the big old wobbly one.
Yes.
But the
The
dog
dog.
survived. And they literally was like the sea turtles. They brought the sea turtles bit back. It's like, wow, the dogs survived off the backs of sea turtles. Jesus.
Apparently so. Basically, that's just their.
Yeah, but how else are you gonna?
That's the hand.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
the hand wave. That's the hand wave
last time Jack
explanation.
Sparrow was like, that was like the made up story. But now it's like I want to know, how did a dog actually survive then? If that's, did he really survive on sea turtles?
Maybe Captain Teague was just like sailing around and was like, "Oh, what's going on there?" There's like a dog. I can see. Oh, what's going on? Oh, there's a dog up there. What's going on there? Maybe that's what
The
happened. I
dog
don't
loves holding on to
know.
key rings, though. He knows how
Yeah,
to do it. All right,
he's
so
just really good at
so we
that.
need to talk about this vote. This I feel
On the
like
vote,
I feel
yes.
like we were in Survivor Borneo here. They did not strategically vote. There's a classic 2 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1
No
to
one.
1 to 1 to 1
I
vote.
know. I know. It's pretty
It's like the
amazing.
merge of Survivor Borneo. It's like, come on, guys, you just get a little alliance together. At least get some more of a like-minded ruler for you. But classic, really brilliant strategic move by Jack Sparrow to put a defensive vote on on Elizabeth
On
Swan
Elizabeth.
because
Yeah,
it
it
would
was
be
really
better for
smart.
her to be a ruler than any of these other wild cards.
Right.
You would think, but then ultimately she's there's a lot of strategic like Survivor-esque gameplay going on here to break down.
Well, his whole everything about Jack's maneuvering in this is really because like Beckett's like underling there is like, do you think he really plans that? Do you think he really plans it out, or does he make it up the whole
Yeah,
along the way? And the answer to that question is yes. I think he's
I
that's why
think he
he's
makes.
such a fun character because it's like there's definitely elements of it where he's like planning all this strategy out because he's basically playing like 4D chess with working Beckett, working Will, working Elizabeth. Like he sends Will out knowing that Will's going to betray him, but that's so he can get close to uh, the Dutchman, so he can get the key and get the heart. Um, so like he's playing all these mind games, but then there's stuff that happens that he can't predict. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't know, Will
90,
Turner
yeah,
dying.
90% of the time he's winging it. Like he's like literally
Yeah,
about to be executed, jumps off a cliff, or he does this thing and he
yeah,
flings with this yeah, with the on the island with his whole
yeah,
shenanigans there.
yeah.
But
Or the yeah, it's like, are you mad? Probably. This would never work.
it's but I mean, there's a lot the social strategy of Pirates of the Caribbean. There's a lot of layers to it. Yeah, there's
Mm.
still the double crossing is here and
Oh,
thriving.
it's thriving. Oh, it's huge thriving.
So
Yeah,
many double crosses.
yeah. Sao Fang is double crossing like crazy. He's making a deal
Yeah.
with Will, and then he double crosses Will and tries to make a deal with
And then
Beckett,
he
and then
gets double
Beckett
crossed.
overturns.
Yeah.
He gets double crossed. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, well, I love how Barbaros is like, yeah, that's what you get. It's like pirates at least will. It's like, yeah, we'll like stab each other in the back to a degree, but we'll
But we've got
honor
a
an
code.
agreement.
We've
We'll
got a
honor
code that
agreement. We gotta honor.
this one guy is really
You gotta honor the code.
he's really the
So
most strict defender of this one guy, this character that emerges as the code keeper,
played
whatever it
by
is.
played by Keith Richards, who is Jack Sparrow's father, which is fun. How's mother? Oh, she looks well.
I didn't like
um,
when Davy Jones tentacled that guy.
didn't like that. Yeah, that's a pretty sorry way to go, huh?
That's always great,
What's the matter? Are you afraid to get wet? I can't. I really can't. Really. Are you afraid to get wet? There we go. That's a little bit more like. And that guy is upset because he doesn't want to go in the maelstrom.
Mm-hmm.
After he's been like the most bloodthirsty, ruthless killer. Like he just murders those two women for no reason.
Yeah.
He's just like, man, what a wholesome man.
And then you had the whole moment where Davy Jones stabs Will Turner, and
Mm.
but Jack Sparrow's
With
about
with Will Turner's sword.
yeah.
His sword has a full on arc in this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Norrington, and then yeah, and then who originally had it. then Davy Jones gets it,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's rough.
that's right. That's right. But then, yeah, Jack Sparrow's about to stab Davy Jones' heart, but it's like, oh no, you gotta. This is a quick maneuver to save Will Turner. Go stab
Mm,
his heart, and then yeah, I mean, it's
yeah.
a good play. A lot of good plays here in this
Hmm.
movie. But well, okay, this is another thing. Elizabeth clearly wanted to kiss Jack Sparrow farewell. How do you explain that?
Maybe just a hug. She maybe
No
wanted, yeah, maybe
way.
just give him a smooch. Yeah, give him a little
It was a
smooch goodbye.
full-on smooch. It was about to be a
Yeah, she'd
full-on.
give him a
It would have
smooch.
been the same kiss as with Norrington. Like she's about to kiss all three of the love triangle in one movie
Sure.
if
You
she
know,
had it
I
her
guess you might as
way.
well. Yeah, but Jack's like, no, no. One time is I guess maybe she's not a very good kisser.
The
I guess maybe
sexual
that's what we
tension
learned
is
from it.
there. It's there.
It's
Confirmed.
it's not it's
It's canon. 40 canon.
well, a goodbye kiss is a
Is
different
it?
thing. Yeah, I would say
Dang.
so.
I guess the different friend groups that I
Yeah.
haven't been a part of.
Yeah. I know. Why can't I
I'm in the
be
wrong
a
friend
part of
groups.
those friend groups? I'm in the wrong friend groups, I think. Yeah, seriously. Um
I thought it was a bit much, the whole sequence where the slow mo of Cutler Beckett walking through.
oh my god, I love
You
that. I
love
love
it?
it so
Okay.
much. Yeah, it's yeah,
And then the
it's maybe a bit
explosion was
much.
rough to me. He's
The-
like, it like comes around him and it doesn't look too good at the end.
Yeah, I like all the shards of stuff like running into him and stuff. I think that's fun.
Okay.
All the it's just one of those like his ambitions are blowing up around
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Cutler
It's
fucking
just
Beckett.
it's just good business. Um, which actually, so and this is something I found out because um I was just looking up information about the movie after I watched it because I was like, man, this was really good actually. And there was a cut like
Lure?
huh?
Lure?
There was a oh there was an extended exchange between Beckett and Jack Sparrow that actually adds. I actually kind of sad is missing because it adds a whole extra dynamic to their relationship. Because it was like basically two whole lines or three whole lines establish everything you need to know about the back history of these characters. Basically, like Beckett is like, well, is like you were working for me. I just you had a job to do. I told you to take care of this cargo, and you refused to do it. Jack goes, "People aren't cargo, mate." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Because this is before the transatlantic slave trade was completely abolished in England. So there was that, and then he says something else like, "Yeah," and then you went off to make a deal with that woman to get the ship, and so it was like, yeah, because Jack immediately was like, "Screw this! I don't want to have anything to do with that." So um, but in addition to that, Jack also originally uses the phrase, it's just good business," and so then he repeats it back to him in the same scene. It's just good business. So so it's this whole thing between them, and that's why it's so nice, like fitting that he uses it at the end.
Okay.
It's like good business. So it's actually originally it's from Jack himself in that original scene, which I think is fun. But
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah.
But it's
But there's
non-canon.
also
So
there's also a whole scene. You know that scene where they're like, where they go on board the Flying Dutchman, and it's basically a show of force by Beckett to be like, hey, we're gonna have men stationed here at all times to make sure you stay in line, like all aimed at the heart. When they all aim at the heart, there's a whole scene that happens after that where Governor Swan comes in and finds out, he finds out the whole thing, and that's when he gets killed. Because then Davy Jones comes in and confronts him, and there's this whole scene, and it's a great scene, and I'm like, man, I wish they had finished that because
they got off camera, right?
it was kind of off camera, and it's fine. You still get the full context of it, but we also then it makes sense why he's like, oh, I found out too much about the heart. I was
Right.
like, where it's like we don't know how much he knows about the heart in the movie the way it is, so it's kind of like,
Exact. Yeah.
yeah,
I guess they wanted more of the effect of just like the reveal there without
the
seeing it
shock
actually
that he's,
happen. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you got to cut some things somewhere too. The movie's almost 3 hours long, so
Yeah. They
um,
just picked like the most important scene between Cutler and Jack Sparrow to cut. Like this
yeah.
Jack Sparrow hallucination stuff is too much gold. You gotta keep
It's
the.
too gold. It's too much gold. But 6.5. So my housemate timed it. It was about 6.5 minutes
Wow.
of that going
That would
on.
have been
We
it.
needed all that time. We couldn't spend another minute and a half of exchange between Beckett and Jack, which is like might be my favorite scene in the whole movie. I love
Because
that
instead,
because
like the Cutler Beckett going out that way, it's like okay, I get it, but I almost would have felt like it would have been cooler to see him like crumble more, or like he's just so composed to the end. It's like, but that kind of character, it feels so satisfying when you see them like get their comeuppance, and but he just got this epic slow mo shot.
well, his entire ship and everything he values is destroyed around him. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty satisfying.
Okay.
Okay, speaking of slow motion, the wedding scene.
Okay.
I've always found the wedding very funny and very fun. Um, it's like one of those things that's just like
I'm not a
it's
fan.
it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, but it's fun. I think it's great.
Barbosa.
It's
Well, Barbosa don't care. Barbosa's gonna marry them
you know,
as he's fighting too.
yeah, I like how she's like, "Will you yeah, Barbosa, marry us?" He's like, I'm a bit tied up at the moment." He's like fighting 3 men at once.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a
Yeah.
lot. I get it, but then the whole stopping to kiss in the middle of the fight. Come on.
It's a little, yeah, that's a little ridiculous, yeah. I like how
You get
there
some
are
of that.
people like dying and stuff behind them too, and that's happening. It's like,
I mean, you see that in a lot of just
um,
movies, and they're not even playing it
mm,
that like.
mm,
Ironically, they'll play it straight, like they're just
yeah,
kissing in the middle of a battlefield, and that's just like the movie magic, where everybody,
yeah,
no one's gonna interrupt the kiss. You know, there's this fight. Let's keep our fights going around it.
yeah. Well, that's the
It's
whole
sacred. That's pirate
That's Metal Gear
code.
Solid. That's
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid. Love blooms on the battlefield.
Yeah.
That's that whole game.
Okay.
It'd be a beautiful thing. Um.
So then ultimately, Will Turner is resigned to the sea
Mhm,
for
mhm.
10 years and is separated from Elizabeth. They get one night together, and they're gonna make good use of it. I know it. They're gonna get it
They
in
they did. We
promptly.
saw it happen. We saw it happen. We didn't see that
No,
happen, but
we
we
saw
saw
them kiss
the after results.
her leg.
Well, yeah, after that's called aftercare.
We got absolutely robbed.
That's called aftercare, Zach. You know, you gotta
Yeah, just a kiss on the
have
leg. But
yeah, a little smooch on the leg.
we were kind of robbed, though, weren't we?
Of
They
what?
could have devoted some more time to that scene. And
It's still a family movie.
the
It's
two
still a
prettiest
family
people in the
movie.
movie. You know, come on.
They are the two. They are the two prettiest people
They
in the movie.
they
True.
they hung a kid in the beginning of the movie. Come on, give us something.
I guess that.
Just a little something.
It's true. It did
Oh,
start
and
out
that
very
would have been
dark.
beautiful. You hang a kid in the beginning, and then you conceive a kid at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did you stay for the post credits?
Yeah, so
Yeah. Okay. So
you
there's
get a
you
little
get
bit of
a
that, but
little kiddo. So, what was the one thing? Oh, well, so the one thing that I really also, I think the thing that I like the most about this movie are the parallel stories of Calypso and Davy Jones with the two of them, because we have like, there's the danger that they're going to end up exactly like, you know, they're both doing the same thing. They're hiding information from each other. They're maybe kind of slightly double crossing each other. And we have the same story that had happened many years ago between Calypso and Davy Jones, where he thought she forsook him, she left him, and so he gave the Brethren Court the information to basically like constrict her to her mortal form. So And it's just like, fine, you're gonna step out on me, then nah. And so they're two. Um, it was like hurt people. You know, that's really what you get
That's right.
out of this Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Sometimes you pretend you're in love with the guy just to get him killed, and then you keep pretending that you were in love with the guy, even around your partner for months to come. So I mean,
Yeah, which is rough. I was like, why would you
a
do
little
such a
messed up.
horrible thing? It's kind of messed up. Yeah.
The I gotta be honest, I wasn't too invested in the Calypso Davy Jones story. It didn't do too much for
I
me. I wasn't
I
like,
I like it because it's very like old sea tale. Like like I've kind of said, I'm a big Age of Sail kind of fan. Um and it really rings as like that's like a story of the man that falls in love with the sea. You know, it's kind of like a uh almost like a cautionary tale of some sort. Like don't fall in love with it. It's almost like like a parable or something you would basically just tell like around in a mess or something, or
yeah,
while you're on deck on a ship to be like, as almost like, oh, be careful about loose women, because they'll the sea, the who's to predict the sea. And look what happened to Davy Jones. He fell in love with the sea, and his heart got broken, and then he ended up a horrible monster because he couldn't handle it. So it's sort of like legends feeling.
mm-hmm.
Like, it feels very like, um yeah, like a fable sort of. And that's the kind of stuff that I really like about it. It's not like they don't have like a terribly like the most moving love story ever, but it's very like, uh again, it's sort of like world building lore, kind of like a fable or a fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the aspect of it that I really like.
Yeah, I remember always liking like Tia Dalma, and
Mm,
more based on vibes more than anything, I guess. Because
yeah.
because when you actually look at it, there's like not really much there. And
Hmm.
in retrospect, like, because I always remembered her, I always thought there would be more. I knew she was like Calypso and all that, but I thought there would be a little more to her character.
Yeah,
But
she's kind of just a plot device, really.
yeah,
That is kind of unfortunate. I would say that is too bad. I would say she is, because with her accent too, is so she's got that uh what is the word they call it, that Ober woman. I remember, it's sort of
Aubert.
like that's sort of
Yeah,
yeah, it's sort of
uh,
like that's like the religious sort of thing. It's sort of like the mysticism in the Caribbean sort of.
mm-hmm.
It's sort of like takes elements of like African and South American, and like it's like sort of a
Jamaican. Yeah,
multicultural sort of thing, but it was a native kind of was sort of mysticism, which is that, that was sort of what she had. The crazy lady in the hut, you know, kind of vibe. So yeah, yeah. Too bad that she's more or less just a plot device, but I
yeah,
like that they at least, because to me the I'm glad they included the scene with her and Davy Jones in the brig, because I think that to me is like, that's encapsulates the whole fairy tale in a nutshell, which I like. Also, you get to see Davy Jones without his tentacles. You get to see
you
there he
do.
is. Is Bill Nye's performance is still amazing. He's still just completely bringing it. All the performances again in this movie, still really fun. Still a really good time. Johnny Depp really killing it. Bill Nye does a great job. Chow Yun
The
Fat, for the brief period that he's in the movie, I think he
wait,
does a
who's that
pretty great
again?
job. Stuffing.
Okay, I still like Gibbs too.
Oh yeah,
He's got some
Joshua
fun
B.
moments.
Gibbs. Slap me thrice and hand me to me, mama.
She's like, okay.
That's one of the best. That's one of the best. I was like, I should use that one more, honestly. When you're exclaiming.
And then Yeah, so ultimately we end up teeing up the next movie at the end, where
Hmm.
Jack goes to the port with these ladies about to show off his ship, and the ship's missing. And that was fun. A whole Barbosa took off with it, and then of course the reveal that it's like the heist
It's
on a heist thing, where he's
yep.
got the map
It's,
with the map's missing in the middle of it. Jack Sparrow
that's
has it.
that is a dinghy. um, yeah, so it's sort of like a lot of the character arcs are done, and there's sort of a return to a sense of peace and normalcy on the seas. Where it's
Yeah,
like Jack's still off to look for a way to live forever, and and so are the rest of the pirates too. We're looking for the Fountain of Youth
Fountain of
now,
Youth, baby.
and
Here we
and
go.
what's fun to me is that it's like it's a perfect like if they just ended it here and not made any more movies, I think it's a perfect little send off to the franchise.
Yeah, but then you could just be like, well, that's just their next adventure. We don't really need to know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but even though it is definitely blatantly like,
yeah.
here's the
Oh, it's
next movie
sequel
coming.
baiting for sure.
Yeah.
It's sequel baiting for sure.
In post credits, we got 10 years later, and then we see Elizabeth and the son waiting for Will
Hmm.
Turner. So I actually don't really remember. I remembered a lot more of these first three movies. Maybe I'll remember some other things, but I don't really remember too much about On Stranger Tides except for Penelope Cruz being in it.
That's like the only thing I remember.
So I'm guessing based on the post-credit scene, it has to take place 10 years later. Then,
It's not.
oh,
It's so because the post credit scene is like
so then Will and
yeah
Elizabeth are just out of it. They're out.
because they were did you've seen um not on Stranger Tides, but you've seen Dead Men Tell No Tales, right?
Yeah,
So you know that they do come back again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
vaguely
okay, so
remember
that
that, but
one,
I didn't remember
but that
like leading up to it.
but that one takes place like quite a few. So I think that originally takes place 2 years after that end credit scene, and then another like 5 or 6 or 7 years after that even. I think there's like another time skip that happens like right after the beginning of the movie. So I guess I don't know. It doesn't really matter, I guess, when the next one takes place.
Hmm.
It maybe it is around that 10 years later. I don't know. But
But then again, you would think if they're going to look for this Fountain of Youth, then it's probably like right after this one. But it's just weird to
right.
jump to 10 years later. I guess if Will and Elizabeth are completely out of the next movie, that's pretty lame. But
They are.
yeah,
It was just sort of like a little it was just sort of a way to sort of cap off this the story arc that he fulfilled his promise. He didn't get corrupted or cursed, and he's making his way back for his 10 years. And oh my gosh, I have a son.
all right. Anything else from
I
the
guess,
movie?
well, hey, I guess they timed that really well. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
it's just like right at that perfect moment where she could conceive.
you
There you go.
got to make it happen.
And I guess so.
No pressure or anything.
No pressure. Well, I mean, you never know. Um, yeah, like I said, the music. This might be my favorite score of the original three films. I think it's wonderful. It's varied. It's bombastic, and that love theme is just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So,
let's give our final scores. Three, two, one. 7 and 8. All right, that's Tarqaron scored a 7.5. I just still feel like it's not at
it's
quite at the level of Dead Man's Chest for me.
okay. I mean that's fair. I think the movie's a little bit while still being kind of all a little bit all over the place. It's definitely has more focus. I like the more focus on the characters. That's what I think I like a lot more about it. Um, and I think it does a nice little cap off the end of the trilogy. But oh no, we got two more movies.
Two more.
Oh,
You
I
gotta
guess
have two more.
you gotta have two
I
more.
would
You
have
can
had
always have
many
five.
more if they had it their way, and they probably will, and it'll be we can't wait to review Pirates of the Caribbean in like 2026 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. I'm confused. I guess we'll talk about that later because the future of this franchise is very muddled and confusing.
It's
So
stupid. I mean, there's like sometimes you just gotta let it die, but they never want to.
yeah,
You know.
no. Well, this next movie I think is the highest grossing in the whole franchise. I think it made like over $1 billion.
Hmm.
I think Dead Man's Chest did too, but I think this one made more than that one, which is very surprising to me.
Well, this next one's like 4 years after this one, and then it's
Yeah.
like 6 years after that one is when the most recent one comes. So,
That still made like a lot of money. It still made like 700 million or something.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those franchise movies that'll just always make money, right?
yeah.
They probably make 10 more, and it would just keep making money, and then just like slightly diminishing
if
returns. But
if they reboot it without
yeah.
Johnny Depp, which is I think what they're planning on doing, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how
Well,
you do
yeah,
it. Like
yeah.
you're gonna
If
have
they
to
kept
tell
going
it
with
totally.
what they had, at least, I mean. But
Yeah,
now I have no
you'd have
idea.
you'd have to tell a completely different story at that point. Like it wouldn't have
Just a
they
different
couldn't
pirate
have
movie.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a different pirate movie of some kind. But
Somewhere in
yeah,
the
I don't know.
Caribbean.
Somewhere.
I mean, maybe they can get
Yeah.
Will Turner. He could be
You
the lead
you get him
again.
back.
Hell yeah.
No, I don't think. I think Orlando Bloom's
Orlando's
days of playing the
bloomed.
lead. Orlando has bloomed.
It's
He
well
did.
past Bloom. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Keira Knightley, what's she up to?
I think she said like she was sort of like, yeah, maybe, but it's hard because I'm like a mom now, and I've got
Lame.
and those movies take a lot out of you. So
All right.
yeah.
Jeffrey Rush. He'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
Really, they should have a completely focus on Gibbs. He's the lead.
That'd be kind of fun, actually.
That sounds like a Disney Plus show they would make just called Gibbs. That's just what it's called.
Gibbs Tales, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. 7.5, same as the last movie is how it ironed out.
Still pretty respectable.
It's respectable for sure. All right. We'll see how it goes from here. Will the scores just keep going lower? I have to imagine, like from here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I necessarily feel about the next two. Again, I've only seen this next one once, like only one time, and Dead Men Tell No Tales I saw twice, but they were both in theaters. So
There was no way
And
I
I
was going
remember-
back for a second showing on that one.
that's fine. The first time I saw it was with friends, and I saw it again with my family, and I remember really liking it. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah, this next one, I remember at the time liking it more
Yeah.
than a lot of people were saying they liked it.
Mhm.
But I have no idea how I'll feel about it now.
I think I may have reviewed it actually. I may have actually like written up because there was a period of time in the late 2000s, early 2010s where I was doing written reviews on my Facebook page. I should dig it up for the next. I won't dig it up beforehand
Yeah,
before I watch
put
it,
it
but I'll
after.
dig it up for the. I'll dig it up for the for the review. So see what I thought about it then.
Because some of these takes, you look back, you make at the time, and I do not agree with myself at all.
Mm.
It's wild. But maybe we'll do that about our takes now. Maybe we will.
Maybe someday I'll be like, wow, I was really gassing up the Pirates movies. What's up with that?
You already say that about some of the scores from like 3 years ago,
I don't know. There's some things where it's just like, in the moment I'm like overly
Yeah.
a little too positive about it, and then
In the moment it happens, But, for what it's worth, that's what it's about. It's in that moment. That's how we feel about it. That's authentic to us.
which is what, and that's kind of why I like doing this. It's fun to review
It's a time
movies
capsule.
because it's like
Yeah,
wow, I
but what
really
did I think of this movie back then?
yeah.
It's cool. All right. Thank
Yeah.
you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, what video should your viewers watch next?
You should go check out our You should go check out our. What did you even title your birthday video? I don't even know what you would call it.
Blind
What it was called.
ranking
A blind
things we
ranking
reviewed.
things we reviewed. Yeah, do that. That was fun. Blind
Yeah.
ranking things we reviewed. So.
Yeah, that is fun. It's basically where we held up paddles, and then we were ranking things we have 1 to 5, and then I would randomly assign a thing from a list of everything we've reviewed, and we'd have to rank it, not knowing what the next things that come are. So you try to hope for the most accurate ranking without knowing how it'll end up. It's fun,
Mm.
surprisingly fun, and hopefully we can do it with more stuff in the future.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, like the video, leave a comment, and take care of yourself, alright?
All right. Yar, me
Yo
hearties.
ho, yo ho.